Hey guys, welcome back to Chatman's Videos, and here's the long overdue video for the Gundam TR-6 Woundwort from the Advance of Zeta, or AOZ, or AOZ for Americans. I'm going to share my thoughts on the kit. I'm going to talk about the accessories, talk about some of the things I can't stand about it, and just do a transformation and show you how all of that works as well. So first thing I'm going to do is actually just turn on the turntable. So yeah, this kit itself was not expensive. I did a pre-order as soon as the announcement was made, and I was really excited to get it. I'm a huge fan of the AOZ series. Seeing that the timeline is from before Zeta Gundam, it was really great to have this series launch. I can't remember the year, whether it's 8 or 10 years ago, but the designs were fabulous. I love the Gundam Hazel. I love the wagtail, the blue and yellow striped GMs. Just all the concept that they were able to come up with in regards to different types of mobile suits and mobile armor was fabulous. I was such a big fan that I ordered months and months and different issues of Dengeki Hobby just to get all the free kits that it came with. So I believe it came, I think it came out with 3 actual high grade kits, which is 3 or 4. So there's 2 versions of the blue Hazel, the white Hazel, TR-5 I think it was. There's a big bulky guy, I can't remember the name right now. And then Dengeki Hobby came out with the Harudu armor pack, the Primrose armor pack, 2 or 3 1 to 200 scale diorama kits, Audrey April figure, a master grade Hazel head that you can swap out with your master grade Mark II. Came out with just a static Gundam kit. I can't remember if it was Gundam Raziel or what the name was. It came out with the Wagtail kit, Gundam Raziel or Sepher. I can't remember what it was because they came out with one for 00 Gundam as well. But it came up with a separate, just pure white kit that really wasn't posable, but it was part of the series. And so finally, when this actually came out from Premium Bandai that I can pre-order, being an authentic Bandai kit versus the third-party kits, I jumped on it right away. Visually, I really like how this kit is very stylish and very unique. It is not like your standard mobile suit. The design, when I look at it, and you can see now with the feet there, it actually doesn't have feet. So it's a landing gear. And what I get out of it is this was very much intended to be a space combat or space utility mobile suit. It does have a transformation gimmick, which I'll show later, as well as this giant cannon will be detachable and used as a separate type of weapon. I believe it's called the Claw or the Crow weapon. I can't remember the box. It's right here somewhere. But there's a gimmick there with that, and that's not a very good gimmick, unfortunately. So, those were the positives I talked about. The negatives with regards to the kit, the articulation is terrible. The execution of how this kit is assembled is really, really bad. You're going to see as I go throughout the video trying to pose it, and when I make those changes, you're going to see the parts basically disassemble, and it's really hard to work with. So if you leave it in a static pose like I have here, it will make it a lot more collectible if you're just going to leave it to stand there and just look good the way it is. The cannon itself is really big and heavy, and the way the arms are limited with its movement and articulation, the size of the cannon, it's very challenging to put this in a cooler pose or more realistic pose than it is right now. Once I finish with this video, it's basically going to sit on the stand just as you're seeing it right now, and just sit on my shelf. There's not much you can do with it, and that's the biggest flaw. The flaw is big enough that my recommendation is If you're not a huge AOZ fan, if you're someone who likes to have those poses for dynamic articulation thing, this is not the kit for you. It also requires a lot of painting, and for what you're getting from this kit, again, it's not something I would recommend to just a regular builder who doesn't paint. It's just really frustrating in that sense. So I'm just going to zoom back out a lot, and we'll take a look at, first of all, I'm just going to move it down here, at some of the challenges I was talking about. One thing I will point out, these wings that I have here, they're not supposed to be attached to this in its mobile suit form. They're intended for the shuttle form, but I like the way it looks, so I just left it. Parts that were painted by hand. Let's see. We had to paint the yellow there, the red, panel lining everything. The red accents were painted. The yellow was painted on this sort of standard Federation V symbol. Panel line the interior of the vent. The red accents here. The green, I didn't use a sticker for this green camera. Underneath this visor, which is very hard to remove, actually there is a Gundam face and eyes. Painted the yellow venting here on the rifle. Painted that as well. On the back, painted the red, the green, and the blue. This does come with a sticker, but I chose not to use the sticker. The green camera is painted. I painted this blue part here on the top of these two fins. I believe there were stickers for that as well. The length of the barrel also was a sticker, but I just masked over the white part and then just painted it there. And painted the red piece inside there. I chose to use a purple paint. What you see on the arm here, which is a... Let me just actually see if I can move that in a little closer. I'm not sure how it comes out on camera, but this is very much like a blue mixed with purple. But when I was looking at different marketing pictures and stuff, I liked that it was a very purpley hue. And since I wasn't getting that to the naked eye under different lighting, I thought I would actually just use purple, and so I painted several pieces of it with purple rather than leave the stock plastic color or the standard plastic color. Let's see if I can set that up here. There's supposed to be a camera sensor here. Yeah, there it is. And I used a sticker on the camera lens here. Okay, so now that you kind of get an idea of how much painting is involved to make this look good, that's again one of the reasons I said earlier, if you're not a painter, probably need to consider seriously if you want this, because there is not a lot of color added to it. And one of the things that I like about how this looks is all the different colors associated with the design of the kit. When I was looking online for inspiration, some people actually painted it. The dark blue Titans, I guess that's their deployment colors, versus the white, which is the prototype colors, which is pretty interesting with the Titans, which is why the Mark IIs have the blue colors as well as their GMs. And so that's one thing that some of those who do enjoy painting can do as well. You can customize it. I gave this a coat of clear blue just to make it look more blue than purple, to make it differentiated again, like the marketing materials. So let's get to the parts. You get 2 of these stands included. The reason why you get a second one is when you use the claw gimmick, you actually display the claw here. You've seen this very short, very thin wire. The length of this is very disappointing, and it really limits the display and posability factor, because it's just that's it. That's all you're gonna get, so it sucks. So this is a big of the huge weak point. We're going to get a separate piece here, which is also painted. This was all just white only, so I had to paint. Did a poor job painting, by the way. I just noticed how bad that is. Hand paint the yellow. The panel lining kind of was pretty bad, and then I put a green camera there, and I didn't even paint these two yellow vents here. I really didn't do too much effort in here because I realized afterwards all of the paint is covered in the transformation. You don't see any of that stuff, which is kind of stupid. So painted it and realized you don't need to paint it. So this piece here is part of the transformation. It is a parts former, partially parts forming, and some of it actually you do use the existing pieces that you can kind of just fold in and out, but I'll show you that later. So you get this piece, which is unpainted. You're going to get two sets of hands. You get the closed fist hands that you see on display right now. Then you also get two open hands, which you also need to paint. I painted it purple, then I painted the red fingertips, which is one of the standout features from Advance of Zeta kits. They have the red fingertips, which really unique. Some people might look at it and go, "Oh, that's nail polish on a mobile suit." I like the look, and so I like that design. And then left over, we're going to have these two open claw pieces. Right now, they're straight for this cannon or rifle mode, but when you do the crow attack claw thing, you do get these, and it's going to be like an X-shaped. So actually, let's do that transformation first. Hope this doesn't fall apart too much. Oh, sorry, in here they're actually, see, there we go. The arm fell right off without much effort. This comes off quite easily because the handle itself forces this, the back of the hand piece come off very easily. The articulation, the posability is really limited, like I said, because of how it is. You can't make it wield it holding it straight. You can't make it hold it sideways. It's really challenging. So we do take the hand off. This is one other piece here that we'll get to. There is a purpose to this, and it's a pretty stupid purpose, by the way. This comes off, so we remove this barrel. It's not used at all. These claw parts come off. So these come, and then what you need to do is actually remove all four of the white tabs. And then these are unused. Just gonna pop them back on here. Like so. What am I going to get to next? Okay, so just going to reposition this camera and zoom into the arm specifically. Earlier, you might have heard me saying about the pegs or resembling a stump. Is it going to focus? Nope. There we go. The whole forearm and elbow, everything is connected by that tiny little stump of a peg. Everything below that is tied to it. So you can imagine, and as you saw earlier, that thing just falls off easily. With the weight of this giant cannon here, that just falls off all the time. You move it slightly, it'll pop off. And so that's a big complaint for me. Another thing here, this whole shoulder piece, it's just a tiny little square. It's really small. And you see that little slot here? That's where you're going to tab something. And because of how the arm is designed, there isn't much of a swing involved here. You can't move it much, which effectively renders I'm gonna use open fingered hands here. That claw weapon I was talking about, pretty much useless. You tab, so that little claw there, it just, there we go again, damn it. If I swear, I apologize. That's how frustrating it is trying to work with this. That's it. You have that, what, half of a fraction of a millimeter to tab it on, and this is it. So if I display this, because of how tight the elbow or the shoulder is to the body, you can't pose this thing anywhere. You can't swing it out. You can't swing it forward. It just kind of sits there like this, all somewhat rather uselessly. Plus this bulb in the back gets in the way. I can move it forward at an angle because this moves left and right. But again, it doesn't really help with the posability of the claw gimmick, because the claw gimmick attaches onto this. You're going to see very shortly. So this comes off. Put you there. Back to the transformation. We fold the tab here. We actually remove this piece, and that goes at the bottom. This is kind of where it gets a little challenging. I need to decide what order to put this together to make it somewhat posable. Ow. Yeah. This piece that I took off from that back part goes in here, and that's where the wire goes. And then this part tabs onto there. So if you had a longer wire, you could do something better with it, but since this comes with such a short weapon, such short wire, you can't do much. And that's what the claw looks like. So actually, I'll just take it off from the stand. From the top of the claw, it looks like this, reminiscent of I guess Phoenix's claw, but because this comes before Phoenix, this would be a prototype or a concept of that, and it's supposed to just launch that claw weapon and grapple. So again, this goes back here. Camera once again pops back down. Going to attach sorry, it's challenging. There you go. That's all. That is all you can do in regards to posing that as a weapon or accessory. So I hope now that you see visually when I talk about this, look at that. Wow, I can launch that claw, what, 2 millimeters away from my legs. If I was immobile, like, that's a very ineffective weapon. They still come out. Now, here's one of the things I did try. I'm thinking, okay, well, what if I just move this arm upward, which is not very easy to do. Maybe I can extend the length, right? Like so. Oops, it's unscrewing. Does that look like a natural attack pose for you? Here, I'm going to lift my underarms up and flash you, and this is like my underarm weapon. Not very effective or cool looking attack, is it? So again, this part here, because there's really limited articulation, these sections don't move other than at the one point there. This renders this potentially cool concept kind of useless and stupid. So, and I think I've repeatedly said stupid over and over again already, and I don't even think I'm halfway through this video. So again, this is why the frustration this is the frustration I've had, and why I don't recommend this kit at all. This is definitely one you can skip unless you're a big fan of it, of Advance of Zeta, and you must have it for your collection. So that's the claw effect. This doesn't get used in the later part of the video, unnecessary. This comes off, and yeah, that's a weird arm design, isn't it? But it's designed that way for the transformation into the shuttle mode. So I'm going to pop this off. I'm going to put the fist back on. Clumsy me. And now I begin disassembling the kit. The head will come off. The head will not be used again. You turn the fists up, and then just easier because it comes off. You can extend it so that it locks into place. Well, it doesn't lock into place, but it folds into place like so. And tab it back in. Same thing with this arm. Just, again, locks back into place. You now remove the entire chest piece, and you actually remove the whole arm and wing. The wings come off separately as such. And you put the head and this body piece away for safekeeping. That's where this guy comes in. So this would be the back. This would be the... I believe this is the right side. Oops. I believe this is the right side. Plug this back in. Yeah, something like that. This part here is done for now. Put that down. Put the hands, put that all away. The claw, as I mentioned earlier, is not used anymore. I'm going to take this apart, fold the legs up. As I said earlier, these wing pieces are normally removed during the robot form. I just like the way it looks, so I keep it on. Turn this around. Actually, need to remove... Do I need to remove that? It's going to fall apart again. The legs, they fold outward as such. So in here, there's a gimmick that allows you to open the legs. You take these wings off. These just tab in. Oh, there's parts in there that I didn't paint. Some detail in there. But you're not going to see it because it's all hidden away, so I figured, well, why waste that time? This goes in here. Supposed to go in there. Maybe I do need to take it apart. Yeah, no, actually I do need to take this apart. It's on the wrong side. This piece here goes on top. It allows you to pose the fighter and the kit itself. The legs are removed. There's a peg for the legs that go underneath. Let's see here. This fell off again, or I don't know if it's supposed to come off or not. There's a peg and a tab that go there. The arms go down here. This is supposed to rotate. Goes pegs back in there. Oops, lost an arm. Well, I think we're not surprised by now that the arm fall off easily. Gonna continue to fold this leg over, bring that down. Whoops. Oh yeah, so what used to be at the bottom is now on top. So this is where the chest was on at the top earlier. So now we're using the legs piece, connecting that at the top. It won't, doesn't want to go in. So yeah, this thing is flimsy. And I've actually done this 3 or 4 times. And I still have this much problem transforming it. Oh gee, see, it won't even stay together. And that is, there's gotta be something wrong here. Am I doing it wrong? Maybe I put this in wrong, that's it. That could be one of the problems, there we go. I won't blame the kit if I'm the one that screwed things up. Maybe that's the problem. Alright, let's try this again. Yep, almost said the F word. Okay, this goes in there. There. Thing fell off on me again. Now this is falling apart on me. Jeez. Ah. Frustrating. Let's try this at the top now. Oh, there we go. Yeah. That kinda does a better job. There. That is the concept. Switch hands. That's the concept of the fighter. Or mobile armor. That it's supposed to transform into. It, as a concept drawing, it looked great. And to be honest, in a transformed, it actually looks just like the way it was drawn and designed. But due to the frustration you have with, or I was having with this thing, and how upset I am trying to get this thing transformed, I don't like it at all. Earlier I was saying you can display it on here. Let's see if I can connect it properly. There you go. Once connected to the display base, it looks slightly better. And that's what it looks like. I haven't applied any of the stickers. There are just a few old mecha stickers and the Titan Test Teams logo that would go on top of this at different parts and different points. But yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot to help redeem this kit. But that's it. That's all there is to this kit. You definitely heard me express how disappointing and how frustrating I found this kit. There are cool aspects to it, namely such as the look, the design of such a unique mobile suit, and yet the execution of turning the concept, the drawing, the art. Oh, and I didn't paint those black. I just noticed that. Yeah, just executing it into a kit. I think they tried to do too much with it by having the transformation gimmick. It would have been great. I would have paid more if they gave me this shuttle as a separate piece. I would have paid more for plastic than have this transform, because the way they needed to design it to make it transformable really took away from a kit that is sturdy and posable versus a kit that transforms into something that doesn't look the best. So that's why, for me, my opinion of this kit, thumbs down. I'm not regretting getting it. I don't want to say I regret this kit, because it is going to go to my AOZ collection, and I'm a huge fan of the series. It will stand there. It looks really good standing there. It's just, that's all it's going to do. It's just going to float on the shelf. And that's fine, because that's all I do with my kits. All my kits just stand there anyway. Sorry, this is a really long video. We're over half an hour. But I really wanted to show, like, you guys lived it with me. If you actually watched to the end of this video, you lived through the pain of this kit with me. I felt that pain when assembling it, because it kept falling apart. I felt that pain every time I tried to pose it, whether it's for pictures, you know, even just learning how to do the transformation before I made the video. It was really anguishing, annoyingly stupid design that just made it just it was such a negative experience. So my recommendation, do you want to buy this kit? I say no, but there are people, you know, I'm one of those contrarians. People tell me a kit sucks. I actually still want to buy it, such as the Gundam Tristan. I don't mind the Tristan. I like building it. I thought it was fun to paint masking it. I don't expect much articulation. I will not disagree with anyone. It's a rip-off of a kit. 2017, they're putting 2012, 2008 kits, kind of making a Frankenstein of old kits and hashing it out. Oh, here's a new design. That's garbage, but that doesn't mean the kit sucks. That's just Bandai doing a ripoff. This kit sucks. So, if you have your comments, you want to disagree with me, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. But yeah, I mean, everyone's entitled. You can love it. You can hate it with me. Doesn't matter. It's your money. You want to buy it, go for it. I just want to help those who don't buy a lot of kits or who like to play on a budget. Yeah, this is one I think you can definitely pass over for a lot of cooler kits available out there. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. Oh, I have not forgotten about my subscription giveaway.